have a motion to approve the consent agenda items.
So moved.
You have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of approving the consent agenda items, raise your right hand. All approved, motion passes. Next, notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Caldwell, Burleson County, Texas, will convene in a public hearing to review the City of Caldwell Public Water System ID number 0260001 Annual Drinking Water Quality Report for January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023, required by law, the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality.
So you read it right there. This public hearing is required by law. We sent the drinking water, actually we didn't send it out this year, it's been posted on our website. And then we sent links to it with all of our utility bills. So this is, we've got these at City Hall, we've got them where everybody can find them, but we are required to have a public hearing and answer any questions that the public may have on it.
Any questions, comments about our fantastic drinking water in Caldwell compared to the rest of the world? No? Okay, next, regular agenda items. Resolution for a contract to finance an automated utility meter retrofit project.
So this is the same, we did I think last week we did the one for the fire truck. So this is through, Government Capital. Same thing, so this will be on the AMI project. We're looking at a 7-year term on it. So this is just a resolution that we have to have in order to move forward in the process. I think it'll still be quite a ways before we actually deliver payment on it, after they start installing, but this is just another box that we've got to check to get us on our way. Remind council, we did get a grant from Post Oak Savannah on this project, and then we'll take some other funds. So what we want to do on this, I believe it's right at $1 million that we'll actually finance. So the payment will look like about $200,000 a year that we'll be paying on.
Any questions, guys? We have a motion to adopt the resolution for a contract to finance the AUMR project.
Motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor of adopting the resolution for a contract to finance the automated utility meter retrofit project, raise your right hand. All in favor, motion passes. Next, above ground facilities agreement with Atmos Energy for a district regular station at Industrial Boulevard and Old San Antonio Road.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask that we postpone this. We've talked about this project before. We finally got the layout exactly where we needed to be for the DRS. They sent me the documentation on it with everything. I sent it to our attorneys. They redlined it, just made a few adjustments. Atmos Legal has not had a chance to review it. So they promised a quick review, and we'll bring this back in July. And that still fits with their time schedule to get this project going. So request a motion to postpone this.
So moved.
Have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of postponing the above ground facilities agreement with Atmos Energy, raise your right hand.
Yeah, I guess you can.
Yes, sir.
No,
Okay, 3, 4, 1 abstain. Next, setback variance request for 603 West Buffalo Street to extend the existing porch and awning.
So this property owner is working to basically add on to the existing porch. They're on a existing property and they are limited based on the way the property was platted. That's the street view. This is the property and the overall location. If you can see that, the house is about 13 feet from the property line, and then from the street it's 25 feet. So when the subdivision regulations that we have were adopted in 2010, obviously that made a lot of lots that were already platted to where they weren't able to necessarily meet the setback requirements of the 25 foot from the front, 25 foot from the rear, and then 7.5 from the side. So because this is an existing lot, there is an existing porch. Staff looked at all of the existing utilities and all of that, and just adding on to that porch to go towards that carport is not gonna interfere with anything from utilities or right of way or anything like that. So they're requesting that variance request so that they can basically just add that piece onto where the existing porch is with the cover. Um, so any questions? Shelby, do you have anything to add?
So they just going to the front, not going to the side or back, correct?
So if you look at the diagram on the screen, like that, where that 16 foot mark is, that's where the porch is gonna go. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with the screens tonight.
It's just the extension to the
Yeah,
west.
to the existing porch, yeah.
That's a grandfather almost.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept the setback variance request for 603 West Buffalo Street? And second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. None opposed, motion passes. Next, approval of the Main Street Advisory Board's recommendation for wayfinding sign designs at the intersections of Highway 21 and Main Street and Highway 36 and Buck Street.
So Main Street Advisory Board met last Tuesday when we had a workshop session. So I was not in attendance, but they did approve the proposed signage that you see on the screen in front of you. So the 4 signs that we have would go at 21 and 36. There's already an existing sign there that says historic downtown, pointing towards downtown. So basically where the Blue 53 would be located. So that's the design of the signs, and then this is the one going eastbound on 21 in front of the Civic Center. This is the one going westbound in front of MHMR. This is the one going northbound at Burleson County Detail. And then this is the one going southbound on 36 at the pawn shop. So all of those poles are existing, all of the locations and everything fall within the requirements that TxDOT has. The only thing that we need to get final approval on is the design of the signs, but the sign company that prepared this was FSG Signs out of Austin, and they have worked with TxDOT on other projects like this. So I don't foresee any issues with TxDOT, but we wanted to go ahead and bring it to y'all so that way we can get TxDOT approval and then proceed with the ordering and getting signs on installation schedule. The overall cost is a little over $10,000. What we budgeted was $15,000 out of the hot funds wayfinding sign line item, so it was under budget for the 4 signs. Sorry. But the only additional cost that we might have would be if we can't use an existing post, so we have to get a new post, but I don't foresee that being a problem. Any questions?
Does the state have to put in the post?
No, they're existing, so it's really just changing the sign
Okay.
out with a different bracket to make it go.
Okay.
Over.
So just a aluminum post? Do we want to do something a little bit fancier?
Do you have the money for it?
Came in under budget, I'm just saying.
Yeah, posts are a little more pricey, but
I mean, if we're gonna do it, let's make a statement when we do it, so.
yeah. I mean,
I get the boring brown, I get it. But, I mean, if that's what TxDOT says we have to use, you have to use it.
well, when I send it to them, I can ask them if they would approve it with the navy, because that's originally what we had on it. But I think if we do want the blue color, it would have to be that
but we're only going,
TxDOT would.
so what's a guesstimate of a fancier pole?
I don't, depends on the base to what style base, because it has to be the breakaway post, so. I would definitely have to get specs from TxDOT to see what they would allow. But, I mean, we could always get this
Yes,
installed and then
yeah.
find the post and.
No, I think they look fantastic. Committee did a great job. When you're spending $10,000, I want people to notice them, you know?
Sure.
You just want people to notice them, not just put it up and, anyway.
Just another normal sign on a
Right,
aluminum
and
pole.
yes.
I mean, that's my thoughts.
Yes, they have to report, yes.
Two things, these are the same colors, the ones in brown. I think this is what they mandate, so we possibly can't get the blue in them all in the blue. And the other thing is, I want to commend Forrest. First bid on these was 70,000. The first very beginning work
That
on
was
getting
for
these.
a overall wayfinding sign plan, not even the signs, that was just the plan.
This is a
we're
phenomenal
in a phase
result,
where-
even if we have to buy new posts.
So we're starting with this, and then we will come back with a plan for other wayfinding signs for the whole town, but these are specific to point people today.
Do we have a motion to approve the Main Street's recommendation for wayfinding signs?
So moved.
Do you have a second? All in favor of approving the Main Street Advisory Board's recommendation for wayfinding signs, raise your right hand. All approved, motion passes. Next, Department and Community Reports. Thank you, Benji, for the code enforcement report. I noticed lots of stuff getting done, so appreciate that.
Have we made any more progress with the using CML for savings or for money market?
We've done some.
Okay.
We got more to do.
Right.
Any questions about any of the reports, guys? Okay, onward. Administrative and elected officials reports. Start with Forrest.
So after the, May council meeting, when we brought the Whitetail Run subdivision, to y'all for the final plat approval, y'all had asked, we look at those two conditions, so we sent TxDOT a, email and asked them to take a second look at the final plat and drainage report, and they responded with no comments, they said that they were good. We discussed with, the third-party engineers to see overall costs of the drainage report and timeline. Do you wanna share that?
Yeah, it was $50,000 to $80,000 on the actual drainage basin study. Timeline would have, I think the earliest, if we would have started, a few weeks ago, would have been October. So, I mean, right now, I would say that it's a pre-existing condition, right? We've already had people come in here and say, we've had issues there. We looked into it a little bit deeper, Thomas and I looked, and I think there's some improvements that we can make on our side that's gonna help that water flow out a lot quicker and better, find its way to the creek a lot easier. So I would like to try to do that before the July meeting and we just hadn't been able to get in there because all the extra rain and it's just too wet right now. But, that's kind of where we're at on that. You know, we can do the study, but I've already seen
3 separate reports, right?
we've seen the report on the development itself. And what that report shows, and our engineer looked at it, is a 6% reduction in the flow off of that property. So it actually reduces the flow coming off of that property. But no matter what, it doesn't help with kind of our pre-existing condition. So I would like to go and make those improvements on our side and just see how much that helps. So I think that's the first thing they're gonna pick off, and at least let us do that before we spend that extra money. But
So,
yeah, go ahead.
with that being said, we are gonna be bringing back the final plat to the July meeting, but we're gonna confirm if there's any action that needs to be taken legal to see if the action that y'all already made is good for it to proceed, or if we need to bring it back for any other action. But it does meet all the code requirements. It's reducing the actual flow from the existing conditions of the property, so, yeah, so we'll bring that back. And we will do another public hearing notice so that all those residents can come back to at least either hear what the overall result is and what we're doing, or voice their concerns if they have any other concerns that need to be addressed.
Now, text dot, is that so, are they saying the one that is between, the donut shop and, Mr. Marsh's property, the drainage there is okay?
They didn't have any real comments or concerns about it. They said that as the development was built out, that they would evaluate and see if there's any improvements that they need to make, but as it stands, they didn't see any problem. We're gonna send them a notice as well so that they can come to the meeting if they would like to, or if y'all would like us to have somebody from our local office represent at the meeting, we can invite them.
Okay. I mean, we've already got water standing at Walmart and the restaurant right up the road there and backing up into almost it. And, but y'all are saying it's a reduction. Is it a reduction because of the detention ponds that they're going to install?
Yeah, the volume that they're gonna be detaining during the storm and then releasing out along the Sunny Street channel would alleviate a lot of that.
Just wanted to clarify.
I think that's all
I think we've got to separate the fact that some of those conditions already exist and that it's separate from this development. I know the thought and the concern was that it would aggravate the already, upsetting conditions right now.
Well, I saw what y'all were gonna try to do, so, I think that's gonna alleviate the beaver dam and.
I think that's gonna help quite a bit, but we still have to look at that as separate. The studies that they've done, that have been approved by our engineers, show that reduction. So they meet all the local and state requirements. On to more drainage stuff?
Yeah.
So I want to give you all an update. The Temple Street, Bank Street drainage concerns, reached out, had a couple different meetings with engineers. We looked over the study that had been done, was it a couple of years now that we're still waiting on funding? But a couple of years ago, that shows to significantly help the issue there, but we're gonna go ahead and extend that study to look out a little bit further. So basically all the way till we get out of the city, back behind NOAC, and make sure we don't have any bottlenecks going past that. And, So I've already asked them to go ahead and start that. The figure that they got, no more than 15,000 to add that to that study. And I think that'll give us a really good picture of, the improvements that we need to make in order to continue to channel water out. The detention pond, once we get funding on that, that's gonna help substantially, but let's figure out how we can get everything routed out so we protect everybody's interests.
But when do you think that grant money is going to be approved?
So we're waiting on one of our audits to be complete. Actually, it's the FY 22 audit, and that's what's holding this up. So we're hoping that that'll be complete middle of July, and then hopefully we can get the ball really cranked up on that. We've had the grant application in. As far as we know, everything's been approved. We're just waiting on that.
Have we had, all right, just questions to follow up
Sure.
on. Have we had any contractors that have looked at it already? And also, so they're ready to possibly bid and start the project ASAP?
It's gonna be just like the rest of the projects that we do with the grant. We'll have to, I've got an update on that as well to try to find it, but it'll have to go in the paper, be advertised in the paper, and then everybody will get opportunity. Normally when we have that, it'll get blasted out to enough people that we'll have somebody bid on it, several folks hopefully.
Okay.
So it's a public bidding process. It's not like we're just gonna be able to go out and locally bid it out. It's gonna get pushed out by the folks that manage that whole grant team.
So it's, all right, that's better understanding.
So Rising Star, the status of the bill is still on hold
Yes, it is.
voluntarily from them.
Voluntarily on them, we, just eyeballing things, we think there may be a bottleneck along Temple, so we certainly wouldn't want to aggravate that and add an additional culvert, which was part of the plan. So we definitely gonna put a stop on that. But yes, voluntarily it's still.
And on Mill Street, that drain has a sewer line. Is that sewer line running through the center of that culvert, Thomas? Yeah, there's a pipe running underneath O'Neill through that culvert. It looks like a 4-inch or a 6-inch. I would just, if that ever catches debris, there's another blockage, and y'all are doing a survey all the way past that.
That's correct.
And we drove around, I showed her the other day that there is a pipe going through that cement culvert there. And I just look at blockage. If water's flowing, and most time it's gonna carry through those, but if it has something to grab onto, and then it starts backing up, I'm trying to get everything away from Temple Street.
So, and then they'll look at that. That's the thing. They'll give us a couple of different solutions. They'll give us at least 2 different opinions on probable cost. So we'll have that. We talk to we concrete the whole thing, or we find a different way to do it. We get in there and doze it. Timeline on that is they hope to come and present to council in August. So we're pretty quick turnaround for adding that. They'll incorporate the TxDOT study that kind of told them what they needed to build there at Bank Street, and try removing that culvert, see what that does as far as water run out. So I think we'll have a really good idea of what the improvements we need to make.
So Strand is just continuing.
Correct.
And around 15,000.
No more.
Okay, that's
So
great.
hopefully it'd be less than that. Any other questions on that one? No? On our GLO grant, this is the Harvey mitigation. We are going to bid out the roadway and drainage project. We're advertised. It'll be in the paper this week and next week. The bid opening will be on July the 9th, and then we will bring that to council on the 16th meeting. And then we're doing the sewer part of that project. Same thing, we'll have to advertise the 27th and the 4th. We will do the bid opening on August the 6th and award it at the 20th meeting. We're still working on the ARPA, land issue, and we can't get the lien holder to release the lien, so we're just waiting on that. Any questions on that? So those projects will get rolling pretty quick.
We still on drainage? What about Hull Street?
Hull Street, we are working to get into that pasture next to it. We tried 2 weeks ago and almost got stuck. So it's another one, we gotta wait till it dries out.
I've got a question on that. What about the detention pond that Rubicon has? During the flood that everybody got all the phone calls and, I thought it was just standing water, but evidently it was more to the homeowners than that. That detention pond had water just to the top of the pipe. It wasn't filling up. It was just is that pipe too big? Could that possibly be put a restriction of some type there where the hose it a little bit longer? Because when I went by there, it was just it was just to the top of the pipe. So it wasn't holding anything. It was just whatever that had filled up. It was going straight through. And I just thought, we've got, 4 foot more almost, and it's got a spillway there. So could the pipe restriction be a little bit smaller?
There was some mat that is stuck in front of both those drains on either side of that street with a couple of little sandbags. And I think that was the cause of what all that water was rushing out onto the street. That's what I complained about. I went over there just to look to see, why that wasn't demonstrated. Those 2 big street drains, and those bags are still there.
All of the storm inlets are gonna be closed as part of their stormwater protection plan. So, I mean, we're gonna, so there's no way for it to get to that detention pond. It's like you're mentioning, it's all flowing down the street and pushing that way, right?
But the detention, like I said,
Yeah.
at that time, but I didn't even take pictures of that because I didn't think it was anything major, but I just thought it was standing water in low-lying areas past the detention pond. But the concern's there, so I was just wondering.
Once we get in that field, we're gonna see if
What we got to get rid of the roots that are blocking the tree roots. Yeah.
See, it's all going through, really it's just 2 pipes, it's 4 go, sets of go through our pipes, first set's not doing nothing, so they all go into the second.
Okay.
I wanna talk about budget workshop. You want me to
No.
kick that one off now? Or?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I wanna schedule something as early as next week. There's some, this year's budget has been worse than any other that I've worked on. Everything's gone up, trying to close the gaps on a lot of stuff has just been difficult. So I wanna have something where we have plenty of time to discuss it. So if we could start in the afternoon, maybe do like what we did prior year, where we do our cybersecurity training and then kick off into some budget discussion. I don't know, I kind of want to ask y'all, what do y'all want to see in budget presentation? I don't think we need to go line by line. I think we need to hit the high marks, hit the projects that we want to undertake, and then really discuss how we're going to get everything pulled together. Look at, how much, we've always done the time warrant. Do we continue to do that? What we've seen in this past year is we've pulled some of those funds away from the original intent, street projects and put them in other areas. Do we look for another way to pay for our streets and drainage stuff? I've seen other cities implement fees for that as a part of the fee structure. I think we need to look at our sanitation fee, wastewater fee. Those are having the biggest gap, the biggest time closing that gap of the budget. And then that bleeds into, we've just had a habit over the years of trying to make everything work without doing anything great substantially.
I'm willing to look at everything. I mean, not line by line.
No, not line by line.
Yeah.
I mean, Trust me when I tell you, I've looked at it way more than enough. I've looked at past data, all of us have, and then we just gotta find a way to get the things done that we need. And I'm not even talking about some of the services we talked about improving. Those aren't even fitting in there right now.
Well, wouldn't that give us an opportunity to even discuss that? So you have a better idea. I mean, we haven't had a tree workshop where we've sat down and be able to discuss amongst us because we've always had something in front of us.
And I just wanna give us enough time to have that conversation. So anybody opposed to maybe starting at noon on Tuesday or something like that?
I don't have a job. So I got a job, but it's her, so it's do this.
Talking
So
about next week, 'cause I'm not available next week.
We're gonna have to bring this, but like I said last time, I think we're gonna need to bring this to council for approval in July, so July 16th meeting, so the timeframe is tight. But I need some answers on it before, so I'm able to finish it.
Back, once I get back, I can go over it, so I'm not worried about this.
whatever y'all decide, I'll be there.
Okay, we'll do that.
No, I don't think so. I've got a ton of analysis done on other cities around us. I've got a lot of figures. I've got a lot of ideas. I just want to bounce them off y'all and figure out which ones we want to run with.
Well, I got another question. If we're gonna start at 12, we started earlier at our first workshop that I thought was excellent. Why would we not want to start earlier?
Try to be respectful of everybody's time.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna have to take off work, you're gonna have to take off work, right? Okay.
We'll do it. Probably already do it.
We have Zoom availability here, because I might be able to zoom in on
Set up
some parts of it. Do you usually do that?
Sounds good. Thank you.
Awesome.
I see that in our last deal, we talked about limbs and about putting, but once we get the grapple truck and everything else, but there are tree limbs everywhere, not just east side, west side, they're north and south. And I see the truck picking up nearly every day, and I've even seen the dump truck hauling since our last meeting last week.
I have no idea how we have a single tree limb.
You're about right, but it seems they pick up certain houses, and even when they're on that street I see them on, I can drive down the next day down that street and nothing's been touched. Do they go just on where they're called in, Thomas, or do they?
We're gonna hit the list first. That's the complaints from people that calls in. City Hall makes the list and they send it out to us. But usually if you're on the street, you ought to pretty well catch everything. We got a roll off and a grade all over, and then we got a tractor and a dump truck.
Well, I mean, there's grass growing through piles, and there'll be one street they'll pick up something, and the next street they'll have a pile and grass is growing through it. And I was just wondering, do they not just go down one street and all the way to the end, and then go to the next, come back up, or?
That's what we should do.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying there's I've never seen us have this many limbs, and especially I mentioned 21 last week, but 21 even west side has got them and been there a long time. And that has to be lined out through the police department. Yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because it like you said, there are a lot of trees. And these are huge stacks, some of them. Since we're going to be renaming the access road to Judy Richardson, can we pull up those first swing gates at the entrance and just get rid of them. They're a safety issue and they look like, really look bad. And just pull them out, Thomas, and fill in the holes.
Okay, no problem.
And, I've worked, Thomas, I'll talk to you on some of this. And then, I believe that's it for me today, because the rest of it will be in person.
Good.
I have several things. Candy, thank you for the newsletter and the city utility bill. Thank you for bringing that back. In the next one, or maybe quarterly, can we do a 2-sentence update on unfinished city hall? Just some sort of status update. Because I know we're just in a limbo, waiting on their time. But if we can give the community just some sort of update. Next, citizen concern report. Are people using it? Okay, is there a, so say you get 20 a day. Is there a report you can do at the end of the day about like what departments have been addressed or requested? I don't know if you've got that capability.
So just the kind of the process that we put in place with that, as they come in, most of them are more like a job order, you know, hey,
Right.
can you pick up these things?
Exactly.
So what we're doing is those are getting put directly into our work order system, like Thomas was saying. If, you know, if somebody calls in on land, we make a work order for it, and it goes out that way. If somebody calls about something else, make a work order. If it's just a question that needs to be answered, maybe one of the supervisors will shoot it to them through email and get a response back. Generally that day or, you know, within the day.
Okay, so that was my question. So someone asked me about prescription medicine disposal. Did our police department do that? Well, I got an email like less than 12 hours later.
Yes.
So it was a very quick response, and so that's good. So people are using that. And
did you get yours today?
I haven't checked.
This was even faster.
Okay, well, there
So
you
yeah,
go.
we are trying to handle those within a couple days time, which, you know, if we make a work order, you know, they may not come pick those up or get them out, you know, just depending on what time we get.
Okay, so say I had limbs in my driveway to be picked up and I did that request. Do I get a response back that just says concern received? Do I get,
Well,
Go ahead.
usually I put in a little bit more than that. Like I'll tell them the process. I have put in the work order, you know, if it's not resolved, please give us a call.
perfect?
Do we have a tracking how long it takes from the time it's received to the time that it's finished?
Well, then when it's done and it's completed, the girls up front will let me know, and then I put it as closed. So,
But, okay, so we do have a time in and a time close.
Yeah,
Great.
We have tried to close, we've built a process to close that circle and make sure everything is.
That's great.
Perfect.
Now we can track it.
We were at the park at 7 a.m. along with Camden and Candy for the disc golf ribbon cutting, which is a whole new
And Roy.
world. A whole new world. What?
And Roy.
Oh, and Roy, yes, Roy was there too. That was very exciting, and it's because those people were so excited about being there. San Antonio, the Woodlands, Dallas, Houston, Far East Texas, they did nothing but brag on the park, on the disc golf course, and on our community, stating how friendly everybody was, how the park was one of the nicest they had ever seen. It was just an extremely positive experience, and I think with them only growing, I've got to learn disc golf because if I qualify for the November tournament, I get $10,000. If I win, I get $10,000. So it's, I knew nothing about it, and like you have got a golf bag. say you're on the golf course, your bag holds all your clubs. Well, little did I know that they have bags for these frisbees, and one frisbee is for this distance, and one frisbee goes left, and one frisbee goes right. So anyway, it was just a learning experience, and very, very positive, and lots of shout outs to the park department, our community, Armory Disc Golf, and anyway, it was a great experience, and I'm thrilled Caldwell jumped on that.
In
So,
November, they're expecting 90 to 100. This time we had 58.
so
And they used all the restaurants. So we couldn't really track it because of the concert, George Strait concert. So we couldn't see what the increase was, but they did. They went to the restaurants for an hour and a half in between each round.
and that's all I have.
We talked about last week, was about the going online and putting in the concerns. So people can still call in or
Yeah, people can still call, and the girls up front or Candy or whoever's
or
available.
walking in. Environmental services for the county. Have you got a hold of them yet for that?
Yeah, I know, Chief was gonna follow up with him. I'll follow up with him.
That's it.
Okay. Anything else, guys? Do we have a motion?
I was just gonna say, we also have a few hot fund applications for the round 2, so if we could squeeze those into the budget workshop.
Anything else? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Something.
Second? Okay, meeting adjourned. Thank you all for coming.
Cheer Verizon.
Yeah, I'm listening.
It has to be.